Speed. Power. More speed. If it has a motor and goes fast, you'll see it on Speed Week every Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
In an 1899 Stanley Cup match between Montreal and Winnipeg, the referee was so fed up by the bickering of the two squads, he left the rink and went home. Officials on sleighs tried to track the ref down, but by the time they found him and convinced him to return, it was nearly midnight. The players and fans had dispersed, and the game was never completed.
There's something I got to tell you. When I voiced over that Stanley Cup moment several weeks ago, I had no idea that it would be so pertinent to a Stanley Cup game in 1988. But here we are, friends. And this will be, you can bet, a moment to remember in the Stanley Cup from a negative standpoint. The situation surrounding the officials refusing to work this game because of an incident surrounding New Jersey coach Jim Schoenfeld and an official Friday night. Let's go back live now to the Meadowlands. Sam Rosen and Phil Esposito, you have an update for us.
Tom, the crowd's beginning to get a little restless. The puck was supposed to be dropped at 7:45. There is one report that NCAA referees, NCAA officials are on hand, brought here by the National Hockey League in anticipation that there might be a problem with league officials, and that those officials are here in the building and ready to officiate this Stanley Cup playoff game.
Well, if that's the case, at least the game will be played, and those men from the NCAA will be under tremendous pressure for this game, I'll tell you. And then if it's not resolved by tomorrow, I believe it'll have an effect on tomorrow night's game between Edmonton and Detroit.
Certainly, then you have a labor situation, a labor management situation with the officials who might react for the rest of the playoffs. It'd be very, very difficult, very sticky situation if that's the case.
You know what bothers me the most? This situation could have been averted. It didn't have to happen. It really didn't have to happen. And it should have never happened. But it did, and we've got to do the best we can. And the players that's exactly what the players are saying now, guys. We got to go out there. We got NCAA officials now. That's what the coach should be telling them. And just do the best job you can out there.
Now, do you think that the management of either team would have a case as far as arguing the validity of a game that is officiated by amateur officials?
Well, I would say, Sam, that if they're going to accept this, they've already agreed that it's done. Now, I don't know whether you have to put that in writing or not. I hope some guys' words are good for a change, but it's done already. And if they're out there, the thing that'll be interesting, and everybody will say it, if it's not a rough game, if there's not a lot of penalties, everybody will say, boy, those guys were better than the other guys. You know what I mean? And listen, those guys that referee and our linesmen in the NHL are darn good officials. I got to tell you, I don't agree with them always. In fact, I don't agree with them a lot. But I think they do a pretty good job on a very difficult circumstances.
That 15-minute announcement that was made a little while ago has not stood up. It's been more than 15 minutes as they continue to try to resolve this impasse here at the Meadowlands, Tom.
All right, Sam and Phil, and we've been delayed now officially 1 hour, actually 45 minutes. We took the air 1 hour ago at 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. We're supposed to drop the puck at 7:45. Here it is 8:30. We should be nearing the end of the first period, but we are not. What is going on? Let's recap again for you on ESPN's Road to the Cup. Day one of a Wildcat walkout by the officials. Well, call it what you will. We're not playing hockey. Earlier this afternoon, the National Hockey League handed down a decision from Executive Vice President Brian O'Neill that the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, Jim Schoenfeld, should be suspended. How long the suspension should be was not mentioned, but he would be suspended beginning with tonight's game because of an altercation with referee Don Koharski last Friday night following game number 3 of this series. We're going to show you that tape again and show you what all the hubbub's about. Now, the Bruins beat the Devils 6-1. Schoenfeld obviously was upset. He blocks Koharski's way here. This is the only way Koharski can get to his locker room, friends. The only one. He has a right of way there. Schoenfeld blocks his way. And this is just part of the conversation between the two men. So Jim Schoenfeld, with those words echoing down the halls, retreated to his locker room, and you can bet that Don Koharski filed a report immediately to the National Hockey League office. By the way, the gentleman that was intervening, trying to separate, you saw an arm come through there between Koharski and Schoenfeld. Schoenfeld, while the television camera was on that scene, did not appear to touch Koharski at all. We understand that Doug McKay, who was an assistant coach of the New Jersey Devils, was trying to separate his head coach from Don Koharski. Let's take another look at it. Now, pay attention to Schoenfeld's right arm, if you can, on the screen, and there's going to be an arm come in. You see an arm coming in. That's not Schoenfeld's arm. That's the assistant coach. And that is the arm that apparently brushed Koharski. You see the assistant coach leaning against the door and then helping Koharski back to his feet. When the ice skaters, when the hockey players come off the ice, there is a rubber mat laid down on the concrete floor to prevent slippage. The players are usually very, very careful to walk on that rubber mat. It allows them to keep their balance as they go into the locker rooms, where the locker rooms usually are carpeted wall to wall. If you're coming off the ice and you step on the concrete and you're really not looking what you're doing, it's very easy to slip. So at least when the television camera from WABC in New York, that was the only one that caught the action live, when the camera was focused on that incident, it certainly did not appear that Schoenfeld shoved at any way at referee Koharski. However, you saw the unfortunate verbal barrage between the two men, Koharski shouting very many times, "You're gone," and Schoenfeld referring to Mr. Koharski's girth in a very, very unflattering manner. Now, since that incident on Friday, the National Hockey League announced late this afternoon, at least on the wire services we got it late, that Schoenfeld would be suspended starting tonight. No fine was mentioned. The term of the suspension also was not mentioned. They said that further investigation was ongoing. The Devils apparently figured as an organization that they did not have their day in court. So they went to a court, got a judge to issue a restraining order that said, yes, Schoenfeld could coach tonight's game. Apparently hopeful that the NHL would get all the parties together, at least later on in the series, if not on the day off coming tomorrow. Well, the National Hockey League referees that were assigned to this game took the ice, saw the Bruins out there with O'Reilly on the bench, didn't bother them, saw the Devils out there with Schoenfeld behind the bench. That bothered them. They went back into the locker room, said they wouldn't work the game. John McCauley, the director of referees and officiating in the National Hockey League, really has a tough job. You got to feel for him right now. He went to both benches and said, guys, we can't have a game without the officials. Reminiscent of Major League Baseball a few years ago, where they had to go with some substitute umpires, if you recall, when the real umpires had a labor disagreement with Major League Baseball. Let's take a look at some other action from earlier this evening. Of course, Schoenfeld came on behind the bench, fully expecting to coach his team, but there go the players. And these are the guys you really have to feel for. And I sort of disagree with Don Cherry in this one instance. This is Schoenfeld, you see, talking to John McCauley. Schoenfeld with the red hair, McCauley talking to him, saying, listen, this is our situation. We got to sit down and talk about this. But you got to feel for the players on both the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils, and I think it affects both teams now equally as much, because you've been off the ice for over 45 minutes, and it's really going to be tough to get any intensity that you would have had at the start of this game. It's just a darn shame, because a series that looked like it could go very, very far and be very, very interesting and exciting all of a sudden has been marred by this bizarre incident. And you have to wonder if the NHL allows amateur referees, amateur officials, NCAA collegiate officials to do the job tonight. I think it is a valid point. You have to wonder what the officials' response would be tomorrow night in Detroit. And Mike Emmerich, live on the phone line again from Detroit. You know, I think that is a valid point. How would the officials react at Joe Louis Arena tomorrow night? This could threaten the playoffs.
Yes, it could, and we could have a situation where the Officials Association might be striking or might be at least boycotting games. Bear in mind, too, that the Officials Association's contract expires with this season, and they're going to be negotiating for, I know one thing they're very concerned about is getting their wages upgraded for another term, another contract. I'm just wondering, too, Tom, if the presence of microphones and cameras being there intensified the embarrassment that the officials felt. So often there are tirades that occur in the hallway, yes, but the media never really has access to it. Sometimes it occurs when a general manager or a coach bangs on the door of the referee's room, and then there's an animated discussion. But very rarely is there a situation where we, the public, ever find out what was said. There were some embarrassing statements made about Don Koharski. I'm sure he was embarrassed by it, and that perhaps intensified the feeling that the league had.
Well, Mike, let me interrupt here for a second. I had a conversation with Glenn Sather, head coach and general manager of the Edmonton Oilers at the All-Star game, and he told me, very frankly, that he felt sometimes that there was too much known about the game of hockey. The cameras were everywhere, reporters were everywhere, and that there are just some areas that the media shouldn't be allowed to go. Of course, the flip side of that coin is, let's face it, money is involved here. The media, in fact, as far as the television networks go, pay a lot of money to the National Hockey League to broadcast their games. And in the case of the clip that we saw from Friday night, it was a New York local station there. And the cameraman turned around as a good news cameraman would do, and he caught something because he heard a commotion. I don't think he was planned to be there. He just happened to be there in an access way going into a locker room, and he turned around when he heard all the commotion. So you have two very divergent viewpoints here, both of whom seem to have some merit.
Yes, and I'm not saying that that by paying the enormous amount of money that ESPN and the Global and Hockey Night in Canada do that we're not allowed that. I'm only saying that I think that probably part of what has developed here is the embarrassment that they felt from having this played. And that's just a matter of fact. It's news. It happened. Cameras and microphones were there and so forth. I'm sort of old-fashioned, I guess, Tom. I go back about 15 years in hockey, and I hated the McMurtry thing in Toronto in the 70s with the Flyers, the Dale McCourt thing, the Toronto police wanting to get involved with Cicerelli this year. And especially, I have a lot of respect for the Devils, but this just isn't the way.
Well, I agree with you.
Isn't it?
No,
you don't go to court to police the sport that you're a part of.
No, I agree with you. I remember an incident, I think most fans do, most sports fans do, when the mayor of the city of Boston complained a few years ago about what he termed as violence in the game of hockey and said he had a good mind to have the police show up and arrest some of the players if they got out of hand. And I've always believed that this is the National Hockey League. The NHL should be in charge of policing the game, and I think everybody who covers the game on a regular basis agrees with that. Mike, we'll get back to you, but hey, what if you're a guy that's paid $20, $25, maybe $30 for a good seat to go to this game tonight? You're sitting there, you want to see a hockey game, you got to go to work tomorrow. In the Eastern time zone, it's 8:45. You're not going to get out of there before almost midnight, even if there's not an overtime. Well, let's go to Matt Lauer at the Meadowlands. He's got perhaps the most left out of all of us in this bizarre situation. Matt, you have a fan.
That's right. You know, you think it's confusing for us and for the players. What about those fans, the guys and the gals you just said paid 25 or 30 bucks to see the game? This is Paul Schwartz. Paul, where are you from?
I'm from Hackensack, New Jersey.
We've been talking about 25, 30 bucks. How much did you pay to be here tonight?
$25.
All right. Now, are you confused with what's going on?
Well, we've heard that a judge made a decision, and then the referees refused to come in the ice when they saw Schoenfeld here. We're a little confused.
Do you think the people around you are getting a little antsy here?
A little bit, but we're pretty good fans, I think. The people down here have been Devils season ticket holders, so we've sat through a lot of bad hockey, so we're willing to wait for some good hockey.
I'm sure you've watched television. You've seen the incident that has caused this whole delay. What did you think?
I thought he took a dive.
No penalty, huh?
I don't think he was yelling at him, but he didn't touch him. I think that was pretty clear. It looked like Kowarski slipped. I guess he was on skates and he slipped.
And we should tell you right here, this isn't only the common fan. Paul's a lawyer, so he's got an educated opinion. Back upstairs to you guys, Sam and Phil.
Thanks, Matt. A couple of reports that we have gotten from downstairs. One is that the officials who were due to work tonight's game, Dave Newell, was the referee. Now this is a replacement official.
This fellow has refereed for us in when we did those charity hockey games.
Wow.
I remember his name.
Paul McInnes, I believe, is the name we've gotten from downstairs. The NHL officials have been spotted in street clothes and apparently will not work tonight's game. We have also been told that the game will start in about 6 minutes.
You know what I would have preferred to see as far as the linesmen are concerned? A Devil that's not playing and a Bruin that's not playing.
Wow. That's like street hockey.
Why not? I mean, if you're going to do it, why not do that? They could drop the puck, they could call the lines, and if there was a fight, they could certainly break it up.
Unbelievable situation now. Now, what do you think? How do you think the players will react? You think they'll restrain themselves? And you think the coaches have said, listen, we can't give these guys problems. We've got to just play the game and try to make as few problems for these officials as possible.
That is a very, very hard question, Sam, and a good one.
Put yourself in that situation as a player.
I'm going to give an educated guess by saying that the players will respond and show more respect for these fellows than for the other officials. Only because they know, but if you lose your temper, there's going to be problems.
I don't know the last time that these officials worked a game And, of course, you're talking about a Stanley Cup playoff game. It's incredible to me that the league has gone ahead and put these 3 men on the ice to officiate this game.
Well, it's also incredible to me that New Jersey has gone this far, although I know that Lou Lamoriello feels very, very strongly about this, and he wants to go to the wall with it, and obviously they are.
Wow, it's going to be a very, very tough situation, which could have tremendous ramifications down the line, as Don Cherry alluded to earlier.
Oh, I think so. I can't believe this, folks. I'm like in shock right now. I really thought that they would talk New Jersey and Schoenfeld into not going on the bench. I really did. And I thought it would take a while, and Newell would come out, and the other guys would come out. That's John McCauley right there, who's the referee-in-chief. I don't know what he's doing in the penalty box.
Talking with the off-ice officials, the NHL Director of Officiating, John McCauley. He's been the man in the middle trying to resolve this for the National Hockey League.
Well, Sam, I am like, I'm stuck for words right now because I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is incredible. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs, National Hockey League, and what's this guy's name? Paul
okay, McInnes? The referee is Paul McInnes, who usually works as a New Jersey Devils goal judge. His full-time job, he runs Murray's Rink in Yonkers, New York. And he has been asked to officiate a Stanley Cup playoff game in the conference finals. That's incredible.
I know with this fellow, I've seen him before, too. He referees our rookie games at training camp when we have the rookie games. And he also referees inter-squad games for us. And he does a pretty good job in those games, but he does have regular linesmen with him that are regular guys. Now, I don't know whether these guys have done some games or not. You know, you look at them wearing practice sweaters, so you don't know.
And you look at them skating, and you're not looking at fellows who look like they are up to the pace of a National Hockey League game.
No, there's no doubt they'll be behind the play. There's no doubt about that. And I think that there are going to be a lot of penalties let go, but there's no question that the coaches are going to say, and just go, what can I do?
I realize it's a tough situation, but I think this could be a farce. I think it's making a bit of a farce out of a most important game. The Boston Bruins are now coming out on the ice.
Well, you know what I think, Sam? If the Boston Bruins lose this game, I think they may say, we're filing a protest. Now, what is the league going to do if they do that? If the Devils lose it, I don't think they're going to file a protest. It's their decision.
And now the crowd responding as the New Jersey Devils make their way onto the ice. 19,000 have waited well over an hour. The start of this game was exactly an hour ago, scheduled for an hour ago. And now the teams have taken the ice, and the cheers are for Jim Schoenfeld.
Well, obviously the fans are behind the decision. At this time, they are anyway.
As you said, Phil, the Devils management is going to the wall with Jim Schoenfeld.
Well, he brought them a long, long way, and I can't say that look, if I'm the general manager, Lou Lamoriello, I might have done the same thing. I got to be honest with you.
What if you were the coach? Would you want him to say, we're going all the way?
If my general manager said to me, baby, we're going all the way with you, then I'd say, fine with me, let's do it.
To his right is Bob Hoffmeyer, the assistant coach. And so we are just moments away from the start of Game 4 of the Wales Conference Final, with Boston leading 2-1. And how about these officials? A strange set of officials on the ice, Tom.
All right, Sam and Phil, and it is a sad story indeed that the miracle story in some cases of the New Jersey Devils, a team that never made the playoffs since moving to the Garden State, has to be marred by an incident where the National Hockey League is going ahead and using substitute officials. Let's hope everything is okay. Paul McInnes, let's hope that he is able to keep up with the play and hope that he's able to referee a good game tonight. But somehow you got to know that the players on both sides, or rather Dave Newell, along with Brossiger and Scapinello, would be on the ice. But that apparently is for the courts and the league officials to decide. We'll be back with Game 4 of the Wales Conference Finals in a moment.
The selection is red hot at Doug's Music in the Highlands Mall, Natrona Heights. Like Doug's large inventory of keyboards by Yamaha, Casio, and Bontempi. Acoustic and electric guitars by G&L, JB Player, Martin Stinger, Fender, and more. Doug's Music also carries a full line of KMD and Randall amplifiers. For all your musical needs, cruise on down to Doug's Music in the Highlands Mall, Natrona Heights.
Silverman's Drugstore in New Kensington does more than just fill prescriptions. Silverman's Cartier staff can help you choose from a full line of cosmetics from their gift section. As an added bonus, gift wrapping is free. Silverman's also features home healthcare products like blood pressure kits and glucose monitors, and they'll train you how to use them. As a member of Legend Pharmacy, Silverman's Drugstore offers you low prices every day. Most prescriptions are filled in less than 10 minutes. Silverman's Drugstore, New Kensington.
You know, I once said that nothing that ever happened in sports would ever surprise me again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very surprised at what has happened tonight at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But be that as it may, Paul McGinnis, the substitute referee, is ready. The substitute linesmen are ready. Sam Rosen and Phil Esposito are ready. Buckle your seatbelts. This is going to be very interesting. Game 4, the Wales Conference Finals. Bruins lead it 2-1. Looking for the dominating third win in the series. Let's go now live to New Jersey. Sam Rosen and Phil Esposito.
Thanks, Tom, and more than surprise, I think shocking is the word. Paul McInnes is the referee. Jim Sullivan and Vin Godleski are the linesmen.
Paul McInnes as referee, like I said, rookie games for us. He's done some amateur hockey in about the New York and New Jersey area, Connecticut area. So he knows about the rules, and he knows how to call penalties. The question is, can he control the game? Now, the linesmen I have no idea about. I've never seen either one of the gentlemen, so.
Well, as far as the game is concerned, Reggie Lemelin, who's been simply outstanding, 9 wins. Grant Fuhr has won 10, only one better. 2.28 goals against average for Reggie Lemelin in the playoffs. Sean Burke gets the start in goal. I thought he was playing an outstanding game in Game 3, and then those 3 quick goals in the first 2.5 minutes of the second period, and he was pulled in favor of Bob Sauvé. 3.23 goals against average. But again, he has come up very big when the Devils have needed him the most.
Remember, he has not yet tasted 2 games in a row defeat.
Mr. Ron Raines.
We are set right now for the singing of our national anthem. Let's go to center ice and Ron Raines. Tonight's game. Vin Godleski is from New Jersey, an Atlantic District referee-in-chief for AHOUS. That's the Amateur Hockey Association of the United States. He has covered and worked ECAC, Hockey East, and rookie games in the National Hockey League. He's also a penalty timekeeper with the National Hockey League. His full-time job a salesman. Jim Sullivan from Long Island, 40 years old, off-ice official with the New York Islanders. Him I know. And he has refereed college and Islander preseason games. He's a retired police officer. And there's the referee, 38-year-old Paul McInnes, an off-ice official. a goal judge. He has worked ECAC games, preseason National Hockey League games. He is from Livingston, New Jersey. And here we go with Game 4 of the playoffs and no NHL officials.
But these guys know what they're doing. They know their position and everything else. The question is whether they'll keep control of it.
Here come the Bruins. That's a two-line pass. So there's the first call made.
That was a tough call, too. And it was a close call. Neely's already said something to him. Let's take a look whether it is or not. Well, there's the pass. Well, that's onside.
All right. There you go.
Well, that puck was onside. There's one bad call.
Devils.
Shall we keep track?
Well,
good ones and bad ones?
I think you have to watch it. You have to see if they affect the game, the play of the game, the outcome of the game. The Devils have made a couple of lineup changes for tonight's game. Andy Brickley has suited up. The first time he's suited up in the playoffs to take the hit from Bourque. Doug Sullivan is on tonight. The Devils have scratched Doug Brown and Perry Anderson. Good hit. Sullivan moves in. He's tied up. Sullivan 22, Loisel 19, and Brickley number 26. Up front for New Jersey. Kluzak with the puck. He's on report. Janney, Joyce, and Neely. Burke stops it and plays it out in the crowd. That's a penalty. Delay of game. And Paul McInnes, the referee, makes the call as Burke, who perhaps is a little unnerved by the situation or a little unsettled, not ready to play.
No. I think the puck stood up on end on him as he was going to throw it on the glass. It just flipped up on him. He just caught it and put it up, into the crowd. And the Bruins go on the first power play of the evening. 55 seconds. Delay of game to Sean Burke.
It comes at 55 seconds.
Let's take a look at it, Sam. Now watch when his puck stands up on his stick. How you can see Belichick is in the way. But it just rolled up on him and he just blasted it into the crowd.
Time penalty 55 seconds, and the Boston Bruins who capitalized on the power play to break the game open in Game 3. Andy Brickley will serve the penalty. 55 seconds of time delay of game against Sean Burke.
Well, I was just thinking, Sam, the first one was a real easy one for McKinnon.
Ron McCauley is in the penalty box and watching very closely. And the puck is fired up over the boards into the crowd. It's off back deep in the Devils zone. The Bruins send off Lindsman, McCarthy, and Sweeney, Wesley, and Kelvin for the power play.
You know, the centerman will have a little bit of a problem in the beginning adjusting to the way he drops the puck. He's used to the NHL officials. I want to watch real closely how he drops the puck, and we'll see whether he does it as well. Because he does it pretty well. The only thing he does is he stands there. Like officials in the NHL now coast in a little bit, then drop it. He does it the old way, where they just stood there and dropped that puck.
The Bruins have gotten better in this series. They have 5 power play goals in this series.
Didn't they start at 9.5%?
Right. They're up. Lindsman wins the draw. Kelvin plays the puck. Now it's Wesley. Forced by Loisel, knocked down by Belichick in front. He sends out Patrick Sundstrom, number 17, who fires from long distance, and Lemelin plays the puck. Around to Michael Kelvin, and the Bruins on the move on the power play. But a bad pass. Belichick gets to the puck. Give it back to Glenn Wesley. Sullivan comes on for New Jersey, number 22. Wesley sends in. Sweeney chases. Belichick bangs it off the boards, and Lindsman kicks at it. Patrick Sundstrom takes it away. Fires down. Lemelin finds Fort, and around to Glenn Wesley. Mark Johnson, number 12, on for New Jersey now. As Craig Janney moves in and feeds Bob Joyce. Tapped away by Craig Wolanin. Broughton hit by Neely. Janney along the boards, works it. Still has it. Back to the point. Kluzak keeps it in on the line. Chased by Broughton, he feeds Fort. Open is Janney. Goes to Kluzak. Nice puck movement. Fort moves in. He shoots. Stick save. Rebound batted away. Batted wide by Bob Joyce. Cleared by Mark Johnson.
The Bruins pass the puck around very quickly, and on a power play, moving the puck quickly really opens up the ice.
Here come the Bruins again. 30 seconds to go in their power play. Joyce gets around Wolanin and hooks him down. Patrick Sundstrom tries to clear off the stick of Bourque. Picked up by Claude Loisel. Tries to avoid Bourque, but Bourque broke up the play and Kluzak has it. 20 seconds to go in the Boston power play. This is Craig Janney moving in with Neely heading toward the net. Centers for Neely. He's upended by the goalie Burke. And it's knocked into the corner. 8 seconds to go in the power play. Wolanin controlling, but a whistle stopped play.
The net must have come out.
7 seconds to go in the Boston power play. Rookie Bob Joyce skates away from the front of the net. This line of Joyce, Janney, and Neely have really got things going.
Oh, watch this, Janney. No, Joyce is the man right there in the left. Now watch him being hooked right from behind. Right there. And Sundstrom just hooked him enough. You'll see it again on the replay. Watch the left view screen. As Sundstrom is hooking him right there. And Joyce can't get that puck. And put it in the open net.
If you joined us late, this game was over an hour delayed in starting because the NHL officials refused to work tonight's game because Jim Schoenfeld, who was suspended for 1 game by the National Hockey League, is on the bench as the Devils challenge the suspension with a court injunction.
There'll be a lot of cheating on faceoffs tonight. I don't know whether these guys will throw them out or not.
Burridge battling in the corner. Devils working up the boards and clear. The Kings at full strength as Brickley races for the puck. Andy Brickley gets to it. Glenn Wesley on him, and Wesley takes it back. Kings at full strength. Little over 3 minutes gone by. First period. No score.
Sam, did Brickley have a chance to get that first?
I thought he did. But he may not be in top shape. You know, he's been out with an injury. There's Castro with an opening, and he's taken down by Muller. First Muller moves it up the board for Verbeek. He's tied up. A lot of holding going on. You can see it right away, clutching and grabbing along the boards. Flett's got a good hold of Verbeek. Tom Kerber's back in the lineup after missing 1 game. He's playing with a sore right thumb, which he injured in Game 2 in a fight. Fired in by Driver off the side of the net. Alan Peterson plays it. Raymond Bourque on the move. Off the glove of Joe Cirella. Burke stops the puck. Throws it off the near glass. John McLean, checked by Alan Peterson. Now it's Keith Crowder along the boards, helping out. And it's still alive. Looking for it, McLean and Peterson. Linsman and Johnson. Whistle stops play. 15:56 left in the first period of Game 4. There is no score. Jim Schoenfeld is behind the Devils bench.
And in the goal for the United States, Bud Light's own Spuds McKenzie.
His name is Spuds McKenzie. Sending goal for the USA. Stopping pucks going left and right. You know the dude can flat out play.
When the pucks stop flying, there's no denying Spud celebrates with Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
This Bud Light is out of sight, my little Spudsky.
Sam Rosen, Phil Esposito, Matt Lauer here at the Meadowlands Arena. Tom Mees in the studio. And yes, if you joined us late, the man in the yellow jersey is an official for tonight. League officials are not working this game in protest over Jim Schoenfeld being on the Devils bench. Good shot by Bourque and a save by Burke. There they go, Manny and Miller. Wow.
Let's see if they back off right away, and they do. He's giving Miller and many penalties, but a good draw by Linsman. Now watch the screenshot in the left pad. The left pad of Burke is the key here, as a quick snapshot. That's the way Burke, I don't know how he saw that, but he sure did, and made a good save. That's the way Burke should shoot him all the time from the point. That quick snapshot, because he gets him on the net most of the time. When he winds up, takes a little longer, and they get it blocked.
Penalties called, 2 minutes each for roughing to Dave Maley and Jay Miller. The Devils putting Jim Korn in the lineup tonight. Their big guy, Troy Crowder, who went with Jay Miller the other night, is not in the lineup tonight. Shot by Raymond Bourque is high. Patrick Sundstrom clears, and Bourque goes back 40, chased by John McLean. Crowder tips to the head, but Belichick sends it in. Devils get onside, but Ray Bourque plays the puck. Finds Ken Linsman. Deflected by Sundstrom.
Right off the head.
Sundstrom to McLean on to Johnson, but broken up by Linsman coming back nicely. Good play by Linsman, who had 2 goals and 2 assists in Game 3. He was outstanding. Was the game's second star. Ray Bourque was number 1. And deservedly so. Tom McCarthy. I thought McCarthy played a tough game in Game 3.
Very good on the power plays in front of the net.
Ken Danico, he said, gotten the 2 days rest that he needed badly. He says his legs are back and he feels refreshed. He was really dragging late in Game 3. Danico with the puck. Out in center, we tipped off Kluzak's stick. Wesley backboard. Jim Ford, Jason Neal. It's the linesman in center. Knocked down by McCarthy. Shot by Sullivan was stopped. Wesley moving it up the boards. It's out of the zone. Moved by Wolanin to Jim Korn. Korn number 14 on with Loisel and Sullivan. Middleton clears out. This is McCarthy. Blocked by Wolanin. Middleton gets it back. Moves across. Middleton. Lost it. Sullivan fires out. 14-15 to go. First period. Loisel steals from Kelvin. Kelvin takes it back.
The Bruins don't look as sharp right now as they did in Game 3.
Craig Janney moving in. Taken out of the play by Bruce Driver. And Kirk Muller has the puck. Pat Verbeek moving down against Kelvin. Verbeek with a shot. Save Levelin, a beauty. A tough low shot by Verbeek. Bob Joyce hit by Aaron Broughton. The puck picked up by Craig Janney. Tries to beat Tom Kurvers. Help from Driver. And Verbeek sends back to Driver. Lead for Kirk Muller. Muller against Kluzak. Muller sets up Verbeek. Deflected wide and smothered by Lemelin in the crease. 13:33 to go. First period. As the tempo picks up in Game 4, there's no score.
If you're looking for the only sports car in the world that gives you the superior traction of front-wheel drive, a competition suspension, and an unbeatable 770 protection plan, then look no further. It's gotta be the intercooled, turbocharged Dodge Daytona Shelby Z.
It's gotta be a Dodge.
Jim Schoenfeld, Bob Hoffmeyer, Reggie Lemelin. Always looks nice and calm.
What an attitude.
Yeah.
He's been brilliant in the playoffs.
Watch this save by him on a shot by Dougie Sullivan. Boy, that puck skipped. It's like throwing a rock on a lake.
Along the boards, Randy Burridge, number 12 for Boston, moves it out of the zone to Ray Bourque.
Offside.
No call. Well, yes, there was a call. And the offside
His whistle
call on Boston. Whistle got stuck?
That's what. No, he's said to Kluzak, I tried to blow it, it didn't go.
Terry O'Reilly looking on. Have to wonder how he feels about all of this. How do the Bruins feel, the Bruins management, about the use of non-league officials in this game? If you joined us late, the officials who were sent to work this game, Dave Newell was supposed to be the referee. Gord Brosiker and Ray Scapinello were to be the linesmen. Dennis Morrell was the backup referee. They have refused to work tonight's game with Jim Schoenfeld coaching behind the Devils bench.
I knew McInnes. I knew him. He was the ref for the Rangers-Devils preseason game at the Devils practice rink in South Mountain here.
Kluzak gets it over to Willie Flint. Driver bumps him. The linesman with the pass. Bourque moves it. Bourque controls. Burridge was offside.
He's calling.
It'll help. The referee called that offside. He got the linesman on the near boards, the referee on the far side, and the referee saw it and called the offside. So apparently
he's doing everything.
Helping out. They're helping out each other to get through.
Might get into a new career here.
Paul McInnes, whose full-time job is operating a rink in Yonkers, New York.
Look at this way he dropped the puck, and boy, he wants to get out of the I love that. That's funny.
That's tiptoeing through the tulip.
That reminds me of when I was coaching, dropping a puck. Please, you guys, be careful.
12:45 to go, first period, no score and no controversial calls to this point. Right here, the referee calls stick above the shoulder, and a good call that time by Paul McInnes. Puck touch with the stick too high. Tom Curvers, good offensive defenseman, formerly with the Montreal Canadiens, and injured in a fight in the second period of Game 2 in the Boston Garden, sat out Game 3. But important for the Devils, especially the defense. With him out, they went with 5 defense and they wore down.
They did wear down, there's no doubt. They wore down. Let's look at an NHL official drops the puck. Watch him. Watch how fast he gets out of the way. See the difference? Good work in the truck. Oh.
This is Game 4 of the Wales Conference Final, with the Boston Bruins leading 2 games to 1. We're in the first period, 12:25 to go. There's no score. And non-league officials are being used for tonight's game. Kelvin bangs it out. Now it's Wesley. Fired out. Burke out to play the puck. Up the boards. Randy Brickley.
You can bet that the coaches are saying, guys, play everything out. Play it all out until you hear that whistle.
Play stopped with 12:02 to go in the first period, and there's no score.
Good time, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Great taste, Coca-Cola, cool, and the fries hot. Good time, real food, good food every time. Next time, take a little break of the best kind. Good time, great taste, oh yeah, this is my way. Good time, great taste. A Big Mac, French fries, quarter pounder cheese, salad, McNuggets, McDLT. The good time, great taste of McDonald's.
They see the goaltenders. Now we have a statement released by John McCauley, the supervisor of officials for the National Hockey League, prior to tonight's game. And it reads, the NHL game officials scheduled to work tonight's contest made a personal decision that they could not perform their duties given the circumstances of Devils coach Jim Schonfeld assuming a position behind the New Jersey bench. Here's Middleton with the puck, centering for McCarthy. Grossen fires. Devils try to clear out, and they've got it. Muller off the boards to Shanahan. He bumped. Good check by Kluzak. Bork fires out. Continuing the statement, the officials were informed of their contractual obligation to work tonight's game but maintain their position. The league has an obligation to ensure that tonight's game is played, and as such, appointed 3 amateur officials from the New Jersey area as replacements. And that's the statement of the NHL supervisor of officials, John McCauley, prior to the start of tonight's game. 11:15 to go in the first period. No score on a move. Janney bringing it in, drops to Kelvin for the shot. Deflected wide off the glass.
What move Janney just made in the center ice zone.
Cirella with Mark Johnson left. Cirella left it. Johnson tries to play it, but Kelvin broke it up. Janney bumped. Out comes Cam Neely. Neely against Belichick. Long shot. Nice save. Tough shot by Neely. And a good save by Burke. Cleared out by Johnson.
That was a better save than it looked like, because that was a heck of a sneaky, quick shot by Cam Neely. He had lots of wood on that one.
Kelvin. Joyce firing across for Neely. Burke out to play it. Sundstrom couldn't handle it. Johnson finds John McClain. Moving down against the Boston defense. Big Gord Kluzak is there. Kluzak rides him out of the play. Picked up by Sundstrom. Sundstrom checked along the boards by Janney. Sundstrom falls down. Puck is loose and Bork has it. Shots are 3 for Boston, 2 for New Jersey. We're almost at the midway point of the first period. Danico fell down. And a whistle stopped play. 10:10 to go in the first period. The face-off will be in center ice. A look at Patrick Sundstrom.
Saw him walking in today with a pair of running shoes on and a suit, tie. Obviously, he still is having problems with his foot. He can't get his regular shoe on, so he had the running shoes and he unlaced and opened up.
He's
played very well.
Been the Devils' leading scorer in the playoffs. 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points.
And that 8-point game, which was incredible.
Game 3 against the Washington Capitals. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in the game. An NHL record for most points in a Stanley Cup playoff game. Patrick Sundstrom. Ken Danico with the puck. It was forced by Casper. Bork sends it back in. Round it goes to Wolanin. He's hit by Willie Plett. Casper takes the puck. Centers. Good play by Danico. Intended for Burridge in front.
Devils move down. Loisel taken out of the play by Wesley. Bork clears the zone. Will land in there for New Jersey. Danico drives wide of the net. On the back of the net. Lemelin bangs it off to Bork. Finds Randy Burridge. Burridge lead for Casper. Danico is there. Casper tied up. Keeps it alive and centers. Burke steered it across. Here's Telvin moving in. Centers all the way through.
If Casper has his stick on the ice, he gets it.
3-on-1 Devils. Loisel with Peterson back. This is Maley. Maley brings it in. He shoots, hits the post. It goes in. They score.
This goal. I know people think it's Sullivan, but watch Maley. He goes out of position, hits the goalpost, hits Lemelin in the back, and goes in. Or did it hit Sullivan?
Might have hit Sullivan. Let's take
a look. First off, he makes a bad play, Maley. Now watch Sullivan, and that's the key. Watch the puck at the goalpost. Right there. Bounce out. Now, that either hit... Let's take another look. It bounced off either Telvin as a shot. Bounces out, hits his glove, Reggie Lemelin's glove, and then goes off the skate of Telvin into the net.
Maley gets the goal. That's his third of the playoffs from Loisel and Sullivan at 10:47, and the Bruins got trapped on a 3-on-1. That is something that has been rare for them in the playoffs, Phil.
Telvin got trapped and nobody backed him up. Casper had his stick up on the ice. If he had it on the ice, he would have had a goal easy.
Devils
cost the Bruins a goal.
Around the boards to Keith Crowder. Finds Bob Sweeney in center. Now it's Lindgren. Tied up. Lindgren still has it. He shoots. Hit the goal. What a shot by Lindgren. A rising shot. Kluzak is bumped. Crowder takes the puck. In moves for Veek. He shoots. He scores! They're going wild in the Meadowlands as Casper Veek makes it 2-0 New Jersey.
Well, watch this. Crowder and Kluzak get messed up here. Verbeek picks up the loose puck, goes in, deeks, and just flips in a backhand. Wide open net. But watch Kluzak and Crowder. He has the puck outside the blue line. He takes it back in, loses it. Verbeek, all alone with Reggie Lemelin, makes a heck of a move and puts it into the open net.
One thing you can say for sure, neither goal was scored as a result of anything done by the officials.
No, sir.
Non-league officials being used in tonight's game. 2-0 New Jersey. For the first time in this series, the Devils have scored first. And they get 2 goals in less than a minute. Burke getting a piece of that shot. Verbeek unassisted at 11:32. Centered for McCarthy and broken up. In a span of 45 seconds, the Devils getting 2 goals. McLean looking for the puck. He's tied up with Lyndon Byers. Byers tripped up.
Boy.
He was tripped up by Jim Korn, kept in by Mark Johnson. He shoots. Save made in front.
Oh, boy.
Henry call. McCarthy for holding. Byers wondered why there was no call earlier against the Devils. Devils lead 2-0 and have a power play coming up.
Dodge Shadow ES. When you look at its 60 standard features, its turbocharged engine, its 770 protection plan, when you consider the fact that the Shadow ES is a better value, almost $700 less than the Chevy Cavalier C24, you'll agree, when it comes to outstanding value, it's gotta be a Dodge. The Dodge Shadow ES.
Gotta be a Dodge. Okay, let's look at number 34 is fired. Okay, watch McLean. Not McLean, it was the other one. Oh, that is
Corn. That's Corn.
Corn, that's right. Gets away with it. No call. Now, Johnson comes and he fires, and in front of the net, McCarthy holds on to McLean and draws the penalty. Now, both of them were penalties.
McCarthy for holding at 12:21. Devils' first power play of the game. They lead 2-0, 7:25 to go in the first period. And if you've joined us late, non-league officials being used. Amateur officials from the New Jersey area being used in tonight's game. Kirk Muller sending it across to Aaron Broughton as the league officials refuse to work with Jim Schoenfeld on the bench for the New Jersey Devils. After the altercation following Friday night's third game between Schoenfeld and referee Don Koharski. Alan Peterson gets to the puck and moves it around for Steve Kasper. Kasper, Burridge, Bourque, and Peterson on for Boston. This is Kasper sending in. Burke stops it for Curvers. Curvers and Driver at the points. Johnson, Sundstrom, and McLean up front for New Jersey. Nice pass to Johnson. Johnson against Wesley. Nice play by Wesley to tap it away. Johnson gets it back to Curvers. Has room. He shoots. Wide. Driver is there. Driver checked by Middleton. Fakes. Into the corner, that's Patrick Sundstrom. Here comes John McLean. He fanned on the shot. Took his head up and eye off the puck. Driver moves it to Curvers. Long shot. Stick aside by Lemelin. Near side. Middleton plays it. And clears it all the way down. 30 seconds to go in the New Jersey power play.
Boy, the power play, New Jersey power play is so much better with Curvers out there.
Bourque broke up the play. And again, Patrick Sundstrom with a stick above the shoulder. Referee Paul McInnes calls it and will bring the face-off deep in the Devil's zone. 19 seconds to go in Tom McCarthy's penalty. Jim Schoenfeld on the bench. Alongside him is assistant coach Bob Hoffmeyer. Terry O'Reilly in his familiar spot.
You've seen Terry O'Reilly's left eye. He got it hurt in practice. A puck or stick.
Well, he likes to play. After the guys have skated, he goes on and he skates with the guys who will be scratched from the game. They practice at South Mountain Arena, the Devils' practice rink, because there was an Olympic skating show here. The Olympic champions were here at the Meadowlands this afternoon. Ryan Boitano, Katarina Witt, Danico. Now it's Maley across to Loisel. 5 seconds to go on the power play as Bourque stops Loisel. Klusak and Maley go for the puck. It's loose. Brickley has it. Teams are back at full strength. Centered for Maley and steered aside by Lemelin. Here comes Steve Kasper out of the zone for Boston. Lead for Tom McCarthy. McCarthy centers for Burridge. He did. Penalty call. Hooking is the call. Andy Brickley will go with the Devils leading 2-0.
Like a lot of business people, I thought all insurance companies were the same. Believe me, there's a world of difference out there. I know, because thanks to the Hartford, we survived the kind of fire that would have wiped out most companies. But with the Hartford's people behind my business, we met payroll. We got back on our feet. So please, don't tell me all insurance companies are the same. They're not.
When you need us most, we're at our best. The Hartford.
Andy Brickley called for hooking at 14:35. Bruins go on their second power play of the game.
That's classified as a good penalty because there's no doubt Burridge would have had an excellent opportunity to score in that. Brickley's a forward, so you know he was doing his job coming back. It's the defenseman. Where were they?
5:25 to go in the first period. New Jersey leading 2-0, scoring 2 goals in a span of 45 seconds. Maley and Verbeek. Janney on the faceoff. Janney, Neely, and Joyce up front with Wesley and Telvin at the points. Loisel clears. Loisel, Sundstrom, Belichick, and Sorella on. Loisel was on for the faceoff. Won it. Goes to the bench. And on comes Doug Sullivan.
The Devils, when they score first, are 7-3 and 7-3 in the playoffs. And the Bruins are 0-3. You have to win when the other team scores first.
Janney. Telvin comes in against Sullivan. Moves around him. Centers for Janney. Fakes. Shoots wide. Belichick gets to the puck and the Devils break out. Doug Sullivan Moves in against Janney. Quick snapshot goes wide. Patrick Sundstrom gets to the puck. Sundstrom controls. Kills some time skating back toward his own zone. Cirella has room. Give it away to Wesley. 1:05 to go in the Boston power play. Good. Janney plays the boards. Burke stops it. Good play by the big goaltender. Up the middle, gave it away to Janney. He shoots, saved by Burke.
Nice stop.
Broughton blocked by McCarthy. Janney looking to center. Hit the side of the net. Burke blocks it and covers up. He made a mistake, but then he atoned for it with a big save in the stop of play here. But a mistake by Burke is he went up the middle trying to clear.
And that's what they're talking about. And watch now as Burke shoots it, and there's Janney. He did not see Janney coming because of the net. Fakes it and takes a good shot. Burke is down. Again, they've got to go up high. Another look at it. There's Janney, the bottom of your screen. Anticipating very well. Here's what I like, though. See him fake that shot, and then it's a snapshot. Good shot, right on net.
48 seconds to go on the Boston power play. 4:13 to go in the first period. New Jersey leading 2-0. If you joined us late, amateur officials are being used in tonight's game. The NHL officials have refused to work. And as a result of Jim Schoenfeld being behind the New Jersey Devils bench, the Devils got a court injunction blocking a one-game suspension that had been issued to Jim Schoenfeld for his altercation with Don Koharski Friday night. Kluzak turns and shoots high and wide off the glass. Bourque is there to play. Kluzak beats Bourque. Checked by Sundstrom. Deflected. Kept in on the line by Bourque. Moves in against Danico. Side of the net, McCarthy. Centers off the stick of Lindstrom.
What a save that was!
Danico sends it across. Battle in front. Sweeney involved with Wolanin. And the net has been knocked off.
But you know what happened?
Loisel and Lindsman getting into it. Let's see what the linesman, the amateur linesman, do here.
But Loisel came in after and pushed Sweeney on top of Burke.
And these amateur officials keep control of the game here as tempers start to build up a little bit late in the first period.
Well,
Jim Sullivan, Vin Godleski are the linesmen.
There's Mr. Sullivan there, Jim Sullivan.
From Long Island, an off-ice official with the Islanders.
Let's take a look at this save. You want to see a save? Watch this. Watch his left pad. As the puck comes back, watch him. He got it with his left arm. I thought it was his pad. But you see Loisel? He pushed Sweeney on top of Burke. Sweeney didn't go on Burke.
No penalties called. 18 seconds to go on the Boston power play with Andy Brickley in the box. Jim Schoenfeld trying to get the attention of the linesman or his players. They're questioning where the face-off should be.
Well, the reason they're saying that the defenseman broke that imaginary plane and the referee agrees, so the face-off is outside.
So Schoenfeld got the attention, got the call from the officials.
I'm going to tell you, I just see Ray Bourque. He's going over to ask McCauley.
John McCauley is right in the penalty box, and he's calling the referee over.
He's saying, good call. He's telling Lindsman to get out of there.
Paul McInnes, a referee, preseason NHL games in the ECAC, an off-ice official with the Devils. Jim Sullivan, 40 years old, retired police officer, been an off-ice official for the Islanders and has refereed preseason NHL games and collegiate games. And Vin Godleski, 38 years old, Atlantic District referee. And has officiated games in the ECAC and Hockey East, and that has been Godleski.
No, that's Sullivan.
Oh, that was Jim Sullivan, excuse me. Tough to recognize them with their yellow jerseys, Phil. Kluzak shooting wide. Checked by Lindsman in the corner. This is Sweeney overskating Cirella. Bangs it off the glass and out. That'll do it. Penalty to Brickley is over right now. The teams are back at full strength. Bruins 0 for 2 on the power play. 3:20 to go. First period. With New Jersey leading 2-0, trying to tie this series. Kluzak across. Can't split the defense. Brickley back with the puck.
No, it started off with very few hits in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but it's starting to pick up.
Telvin. Give it away. Here comes Cirella. Cirella moves in. Goes against Telvin. Waits for help. Tries to find an open man. It's Kirk Muller. Centers for Shanahan. He's taken down by Telvin. The referee was screened on that as Byers and Cirella were battling, and now a whistle stops play, and it looks like Byers and Cirella will go off. Telvin took down Shanahan in front, but the referee didn't see it. He was screened by the two men battling. 2-0 New Jersey.
Dodge Dakota 4x4. When you consider that it comes loaded with the best truck warranty on or off the road, more available payload than any competitive compact 4x4 in the country, and a fuel-injected V6 engine S10 and Ranger charge extra for, it's easy to see. Only one size 4x4 has it all. It's gotta be the mid-size Dodge Dakota.
It's gotta be the Dodge.
The Devils, number 2,
Terry O'Reilly looks on. Lyndon Byers and Joe Cirella go off for penalties with 2:46 to go in this first period.
Let's take a look at it. Here comes Byers as he gives Cirella a tremendous elbow. And then they got wrestling, so...
Cirella for holding. Byers for elbowing at 17:41. No loss of manpower on the ice. Still skating 5 aside, 2-on-1 Boston. Middleton with the puck, joined by Jenny. With Curvers back. Middleton shoots wide.
Puck bounced, rolled on him.
The driver moves it into the corner, and Curvers chases it down.
Gotta hit the net when you're on a 2-on-1.
Here's McLean. Brings it across. Shanahan is with him down the boards. McLean is tied up. Centers for driver. Quick shot. Saved by Lemelin, a tough one. Looked like a knuckleball going in. Middleton clears the zone. So the New Jersey Devils have responded to all the distractions going on off the ice. McLean moving in. He shoots, and it's blocked off the leg of Kuzak and wide. Out come the Boston Bruins. Bourque.
Puck is bouncing all over the place.
Bourque was knocked down hard by Wolanin. Danico fires out to Patrick Sundstrom. Minute 40 to go in the first period. Sundstrom beats Maley in front. Nice passing play by the Devils. The Bruins come back. Counterattack. Randy Burridge moving in. He's bumped. Still goes after the puck. Danico ties him up. Pledge gave it away to Danico. Devils come out 4-on-2. Danico slides it to Maley. Maley moves in and slides it to Sundstrom. His shot deflected by Telvin. Burridge has got it. 1:10 to go in the first period. Burridge drops it in the Devil zone.
The Bruins are not sharp mentally at all.
Muller, 1 minute to go in the first period. 2-0 New Jersey. Muller waits. His shot deflected in front. Broughton's got it. Looking. Sullivan side of the net. Saved by Lemelin. Broughton's got it again. Muller set up. Back pass. Hopped over the stick of Belichick and out of the zone. What's the tip-off on the Bruins not being sharp, Phil?
Just what Burridge did there. Usually they'll get it in deep and then get off. He just tried to flip that, and he didn't care where it went. He was going right to the bench.
Neely with a good hit on Muller. Bourque takes the puck with 30 seconds to go in the first period.
That's all it is, a mental error.
Neely moving in. Drops it off. Take it away on the Devils. Belichick beats Sundstrom. Kuzak is back. Kuzak takes Sundstrom. Sundstrom stays with the puck. Forced out to center. 15 seconds to go in one of the most bizarre situations in NHL history, with amateur officials working Game 4 of the Wales Conference Final. The first period has come to an end for the New Jersey Devils as leading the Boston Bruins 2-0. 2 goals in a span of 45 seconds. Maley at 10:47, Verbeek at 11:32. The Devils have their coach. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs do not have league officials. A bizarre situation where the league officials refused to work. After Jim Schoenfeld, the Devils coach, was suspended for 1 game by the league, the Devils challenged the suspension, got a court injunction against it, allowing Schoenfeld to work the bench, and then the scheduled officials, Dave Newell, Gord Brossiker, Ray Scapanello, and the backup Dennis Morrell got into street clothes and left. And that's it. We will recap it between periods. It's New Jersey leading Boston. End of one of Game 4, 2-0.
You can hear the understandable pride when modern brewers talk about the time they spend brewing their beers, or the time they spend lagering them. True, this reflects effort and care. But for Budweiser, some things take even more time. Like waiting for a big beechwood tree to grow from a small beechwood tree. For all the years past, and the years to come, this is the kind of time and the kind of care that go into your beer. Beechwood aged Budweiser.
Gillette has changed the face of shaving. First, we made it closer. Then we made it smoother. Atra Plus. Its Lubra-Smooth strip actually releases lubricants to glide the razor more smoothly. Incredible smoothness from the first stroke to the last. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
Excuse me, I see your gray hair there.
I do. I have a couple.
Let me see.
But you know something? The first time I ever went to Paris and I walked down the Champs-Elysees, I had the weirdest feeling that I'd been there before.
But you took sides in a political conversation, though.
A guy named Steve, his life wasn't going well. He put an extra E in his name. S-T-E-E-V-E. Steve.
Because in Florida, we used to go deer hunting. There hadn't been a deer in Florida in 100 years.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
It's a yes. It's a definite okay.
It's television's only official weekly pro basketball report. Follow the Lakers' attempt at a second straight title and the teams who could shoot them down on the NBA Today. Every Wednesday on ESPN.
Welcome back to the Road to the Cup. Yes, we are through one period at the Meadowlands. The New Jersey Devils on goals by David Maile and Pat Verbeek lead the Boston Bruins 2-0. That's primarily what's on the mind of the Devils players and also the Bruin players. But what's on the mind of everybody else is the situation we're in with substitute officials tonight. The regularly assigned officials walked out. Maybe it'll be known as the Mother's Day walkout in the Meadowlands, but they would rather not officiate this game, they ruled, rather than see Jim Schoenfeld behind the bench for the Devils. But how is this affecting the play on the ice? Well, Matt Lauer is standing by live now with Steve Casper of the Boston Bruins, and when we can go there, we will go there in just a few minutes. First of all, let's turn back the clock. This afternoon, the National Hockey League issued an announcement saying that head coach Jim Schoenfeld of the New Jersey Devils would be suspended effective tonight because of the run-in he had with referee Don Koharski at the end of Game 3 of this series on Friday night at the Meadowlands. Koharski claimed that there was a shoving incident. You heard earlier on the Road to the Cup the verbal exchanges between the two men. So the league says, okay, Schoenfeld must be suspended. How long the suspension was going to go was not named this afternoon, was not outlined this afternoon by league officials. Then the Devils were incensed because they felt that Schoenfeld did not get his day in court, did not have an official NHL hearing. So the Devil organization went to court, and they got a Superior Court judge by the name of James F. Madden in New Jersey to issue a temporary restraining order. What it meant was that Jim Schoenfeld was going to be allowed by law to coach the New Jersey Devils. Schoenfeld comes out behind the Devil bench. The referees that are supposed to work this game, Dave Newell, who is the head of the referees union, we understand, along with linesman Gord Brossiker and Ray Scapanello, they see Schoenfeld, they bolt. They go back to the locker room. They tell the NHL officials on hand, John McCauley, one of them, no way we're going to work this hockey game. Backup referee Dennis Morrell, he also fell in line with his fellow referees and linesmen. No way was he going to work. What does the NHL do? Game's got to go on. They get substitute officials, and you're seeing Paul McGinnis, the referee tonight, and this is one of the substitute linesmen, Jim Sullivan. Vin Godleski is also coming in as a substitute linesman. It appears that there has been no effect on the game from the head referee of this Mother's Day walkout, but it appears also that the skating ability of the linesman may fall into question by some hockey players and fans, as we've seen on many face-offs in this game. Be that as it may, the statistic we're watching on the scoreboard, Devils 2, Bruins nothing. Back with more in a moment.
Drive with confidence on B.F. Goodrich XLMHT steel radials from Tire Corral, designed for all seasons to deliver excellent traction in rain or snow. You can rely on the XLMHT steel radial from Tire Corral for a smooth, quiet ride, dependable year-round performance, and long mileage too. Go with names you can trust. Tire Corral and B.F. Goodrich. The XLMHT radial is now sale priced at Tire Corral locations in Lower Borough, Daytona Heights, Leechburg, North Apollo, and Ford City.
The ship store is open at Wind and Water Boat Works, Western Pennsylvania's largest outfitter for sailing, rowing, and paddling. Come aboard and check out the large selection of sailboats from 6 major manufacturers. Browse through racks of canoes, kayaks, and recreational rowing shells. And don't forget the popular and exciting sailboards. Wind and Water also carries foul weather gear, sailing clothes, accessories, and hardware. Wind and Water Boat Works, Route 8, 6 miles south of Butler and 11 miles north of the Turnpike.
There's plenty of head-on power, blinding speed, more passing, more scoring. The 50-yard indoor war rages on. Arena football puts you up close where the action is right in your face. Iron Man combat played at lightning pace. Catch all the off-the-wall excitement all season long. Arena football, live every week only on ESPN.
Well, a detour on the road to the Cup, no doubt about that. A 67-minute delay in the start of tonight's Game 4 of the Wales Conference Finals between the Devils and Bruins that will herefore be known as the Mother's Day walkout by the assigned National Hockey League referees. Furious that Jim Schoenfeld was allowed by a civil court to coach his New Jersey Devil team after an incident with referee Don Koharski on Friday. The referees assigned to tonight's game said they would not work the game. The game was held up while substitute officials were gathered up by the National Hockey League. Now, if you haven't seen the incident on Friday and you wonder what all the hubbub is about, let's go back about 48 hours ago. It was right after the game that the Devils had been beaten 6-1 by the Boston Bruins in Game 3 of the Wales Finals. Schoenfeld in the suit there with the suspenders, the coach of the Devils, he's upset with Koharski. They meet as Koharski starts towards his locker room. Schoenfeld for a moment appeared to impede Koharski, and they continued a shouting match down the corridor. Well, Jim Schoenfeld, of course, was suspended by the NHL, then allowed to coach by a judge.
New Jersey Devils
Here's Larry Brooks of the Devils.
have served the National Hockey League with a restraining order in response to the league suspension of our head coach, Jim Schoenfeld. Jim Schoenfeld will be behind the bench for tonight's game.
But then the players were told that the referees wouldn't work, so the players from the Devils and Bruins were summoned off. And there's John McCauley talking with Jim Schoenfeld, explaining the whole situation. And after about 1 hour of negotiating and serious telephone talking, here come the backup officials. The man on the striped shirt is Paul McGinnis, the two linesmen, Jim Sullivan and Vin Godleski. And they got a rousing ovation from the almost 20,000 paying customers because, as one fan put it, we've watched so much bad hockey in the Meadowlands for several years, we'll wait forever to see good hockey. And there is John McCauley, the director of officiating of the NHL. He is in the penalty box. He will be there throughout the night to help out the linesmen if they need any assistance. If there's been any criticism leveled by veteran watchers of hockey, it has been that they must question some of the skating ability of some of the linesmen. But really, these guys are stepping into a very, very tough situation. There has been some praise by those of us here in the studio watching the game to see if the refereeing would have any effect on the outcome of this game. So far, as best we can determine, Paul McGinnis is doing the best job possible. You're looking at one of the substitute linesmen now. Jim Sullivan and Vin Godleski have been called in reserve. So what we have here is a walkout on Mother's Day by the assigned NHL officials. Whether it's a Wildcat situation or whether it's been orchestrated by the referees union, only time will tell. And how will it affect tomorrow night's game in Detroit? Only time will tell that. We're on the case here on Road to the Cup. We're going to try and get comment from elsewhere around the world of hockey. But after one from New Jersey, it's the Devils 2 and the Bruins nothing.
Go. A sport sport for all seasons. And 12 months a year, ESPN brings you the best of the PGA Tour. Coverage from 3 of golf's Grand Slam events, the finest Lady Linksters, and those swinging seniors. Join the world's greatest golfers for heart-stopping and heart-breaking thrills all year long. For live coverage that's far better than par for the course, ESPN.
Test pilot Tuck Pendleton wanted to make history, so he was miniaturized, placed into a needle, and was about to be injected into this rabbit. But something went wrong, and now Tuck is trapped inside neurotic grocery clerk Jack Potter. Now poor Jack's got twice the problems, but he's double the man. Can Jack get out of danger? Can Tuck get out of Jack? Find out. See Dennis Quaid and Martin Short in Steven Spielberg's Inner Space. A fantastically funny voyage you can take at home on Viewer's Choice.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the National Hockey League, Mr. John A. Ziegler, Jr.
The National Hockey League, along with other professional sports organizations, supports the president's sports drug education program. The goal of this program is simple. It is to keep our young people free from drugs. I'd like you to listen to a lady who really cares. She's given a great deal of her time to this program, Nancy Reagan.
Thank you, John. You're right. I do care. And I'm greatly concerned about the epidemic use of drugs by school-aged children. Sports figures, especially hockey players who are so respected by our young people, can help lead the way in our fight to defeat drug abuse. I'm so pleased that NHL players like Wayne Gretzky, Mike Bossy, Rod Langway have joined this effort. Together, we'll make a great team. And together, we'll win this fight.
As is always the case between our first intermission, whether we have a Mother's Day walkout or not, it's time to take a look at the Bud Light scoreboard. And to be sure, there were 20 minutes of hockey played, some of it pretty good between the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. The Devils getting the only 2 goals of the period. Early on, Ray Bourque with the blast, though, for the Boston Bruins. Number 77 winds up from the blue line. Now, you got to wonder how Sean Burke saw this thing, but he did, because he gets his left pad out there like he saw it all the way through a screen. That kept the game scoreless. And then the former Montreal Canadien, David Mealy, number 8 in the red and white of the Devils, gets the shot off, hits part of the stick of Reggie Lemonade, goes to Michael Telvin. He's a Boston defender, hits his skate, goes into the net. Mealy gets credit for the goal, 1-0 Devils. Less than a minute later, Pat Verbeek takes advantage of a missed defensive assignment. Verbeek is number 16. Whoops, thank you very much for that puck, Mr. Crowder. He goes in and scores unassisted. And we understand that Phil Esposito, our color analyst tonight, general manager of the New York Rangers, says in his opinion neither Devil goal was tainted by any lackluster officiating, and that is the good thing. You don't want to see the outcome of this game tainted at all by the bizarre officiating situation. After one period in New Jersey, it's the Devils 2 and the Boston Bruins nothing. We'll be back with more on Road to the Cup in a moment.
Round of lights here?
Hey! Oh, this idea was this, huh? Who was the quarter in this thing? Oh, no!
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Because everything else is just a light.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do.
I'm a Prudential representative, and I help people review their life insurance needs because I know how much the right life insurance means to me and my family.
You take pride in your life, so do we. Going above and beyond is our policy. The Rock, the Prudential above and beyond.
Yeah, just what I suspected. Got a bad power pump on 18.
All right, Dave.
So don't worry, we'll get you fixed up.
It's our anniversary, Houston. You call my wife.
We go right to rig 4 first, Dave? Yeah. First thing I gotta do is get the drill bit out of that hole, pull up all the pipe, then we can see what's in there.
Sure, I'm glad you're here, Dave.
Al, yeah, I'm on United, flight 170 coming home. Osaka.
We are very happy. When you spend your life making things go smoothly for others,
Arigato. Thank you, Dave. Arigato.
the least your airline can do is make things go smoothly for you. United.
rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Oh, it's my son's birthday, remember? Mm-hmm. Promise you won't call me.
Come fly the friendly skies.
Hey, Dave, thanks for coming down.
Sure, no problem.
ESPN's Road to the Cut, coming your way from East Rutherford, New Jersey, is being brought to you by Toyota and the 4x4 trucks that give you power, performance, and style. By Levi's Dockers. If you're not wearing Levi's, you're just wearing pants. And by Lucite, the paint that lasts and lasts. As the Mother's Day walkout game continues, we're set for the second period. The Devils lead the Bruins 2-0. Sam Rosen and Phil Esposito aren't walking anywhere. They're staying put in the Meadowlands. Sam and Phil, take it away.
Thanks, Tom. And here at the Meadowlands, the hits are down, Phil.
That's what I was just going to say. Game 1, in the first period, there were 34 total hits. Game 2, 46 total hits. Game 3, 32. And tonight, in the first period, only 24. So they're down 8 hits. And I think that was at the beginning when they didn't know how this guy was going to react.
As you saw, the yellow jerseys have been lifted off. And these amateur officials have gotten official striped jerseys underway. Second period. Hard hit by Neely, knocked down Brickley from behind. Sullivan has the puck, and another Devil goes flying. It was Loisel, upended by Joyce. So the Bruins have come out a lot more physical here, and Loisel goes right back and dumps Joyce. Fourth. Up the middle, tipped ahead. In the Devil zone, Cirella back for it. Neely coming down the boards. Cirella's got it.
Sam, this is going to start getting a little rough.
Good play by Neely, stole the puck. Works it off the boards to Janney. Belichick hits Burridge. Burridge goes down. Muller's got the puck. Good hit. Again, the Bruins hitting all over the ice. Offside was called. Wesley took it back across the blue line.
Obviously, Terry O'Reilly told his troops in between periods, look, you guys, so what? They're amateur officials. Go out there and play your game. And what does that constitute of? Hitting, and checking.
Claude Loisel, he was hit
Watch
hard.
this. Now, it might be a Charlie horse. Let's take a look. Okay, that's what it is. Hey, see that knee of Janney got right into Loisel's.
Loisel's going into the locker room. He was dumped first by Joyce. He went back after the rookie. And Loisel limping into the locker room. Or at least trying to walk it off in the runway. Bruce Driver with the puck. One thing is for certain, the adrenaline is built back up for the Devils. They have a lot better legs tonight than they did on Friday night. Good! And they look very, very tired. Wesley moves it around the boards. Driver stops it toward the net, deflected wide. Verbeek has got it behind the net. Now into the corner. Hit by Casper. Taken away by Talbot. Casper and Verbeek both go down. Bruins move down. Broughton takes down Randy Burridge. Takes the puck away. Bruce Driver. Muller tips it nicely to Kerber. She's in for the shot. Verbeek to Kerber. Centers off the skate.
You shoot that one.
Kerber's quick to the puck and quick off the shot. 2-on-1. Bork with Casper. Driver is back. Casper shoots wide.
Missing the net. Oh, both teams are missing the net on good opportunity.
Kerber couldn't handle it. Jay Miller's pass taken by Bork. He's got room to shoot. Saved by Burke and covers up. 18:05 to go. Second period. Sean Burke with a good save keeps the Bruins off the board.
If you could have a truck that'll make you wonder how you ever got along without it, Toyota Standard Bed. The one that sets the standard for compact trucks with the biggest standard payload in its class and the solid value that makes Toyota #1 in import truck sales. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than Toyota quality. Now who's looking out for #1?
Toyota.
Toyota!